1A, plot the following points on the number line without measuring. So it looks like there are 3 points for us to plot. So we are going to go through them one by one to talk about them. Got it? All right, the first one is 1/3. What do we know about 1/3? Corbian, maybe you're the friend I need to move. You need to stop, or you're going to be out of here. It's not fair to everyone else who's trying to learn. What do we know about 1/3? Brendan.
It is smaller than a half.
It is smaller than a half. I agree. What else do we know about it? Devin? Yes, we know that. What else do we know about it compared to these 3 numbers here? Max? What do we know about it compared? We know that it's smaller than a half, but what else do we know about it that's dealing with these 3 numbers? Brendan?
It's bigger than nothing.
It's bigger than 0, so it's somewhere between these 2. So let's go ahead and let's plot that one on there somewhere between these 2. It's going to be, where do you think it's going to be a little bit closer to the 0 or a little bit closer to the half? Yeah, I agree. Not much, but a little bit. What can we do to show if we wanted to be exact without like getting a ruler out? But if we wanted to be exact, what else could I do to make sure I have it in the right spot? Zachary? Brendan?
Draw the rest of the thirds in 2.
Yeah, I could just draw my, so I have 1, 2, 3. They're not exact, but that's okay. I'm not going to label that one because we're only labeling the one that's, that we need to. All right, so let's put a little check mark. We did that one. And we are going to move on to 5, 6. So let's go ahead and let's take our number line and let's split it up into 6, okay? How many 6 would be on half of it? 3, yeah. So just go ahead and block off your... All right, so where would 5, 6 be? Which side of my number line? Devin?
Bigger than 1/2.
Bigger than 1/2. All right, what is half? What's in 6? What is a half? Tyler? 3, 6. So we only have to go over how many 6? 2, yeah. All right, so 5, 6 would be about here, right?
Yeah.
Are there any 6 before we get to a whole?
No.
No. So go ahead and make your check mark there. All right, and then 7/12. I could label my 12ths if I wanted to, but what do we know about 7/12? Abby? It's just a smidge more than a half, right? And this one is pretty close to a whole. So we know we can put one over here and it will show it pretty well. So we can just say 7/12 is pretty close to that half. You guys agree? Okay. B, use the number line in part A to compare the fractions by writing greater than, less than, or equal to on the lines. So 7/12 is what compared to a half? Tanner? Look at your number line. Is 7/12 bigger or smaller? Brendan?
Greater than.
It's greater than. 7/12 is greater than a half. All right, what about number 2 here? 7/12 compared to 5, 6. So here's 7/12 and here's 5, 6. How do they compare? Lucas? 7/12 is less than 5, 6. I agree. Which makes sense, right? 7/12 is almost a half, and 5, 6 is almost a whole. Yep. All right, scooching down here to number 2. Plot the following points on the number line without measuring. So we have 11/12, 1/4, and 3/8. When you guys look at those, what's one that like right away you feel like you could plot like really quickly? Because I see when I looked at these 3, I was like, oh, I could do that one so quick and so easy. Zachary?
1/4.
1/4, because where does 1/4 belong?
Like right between a half and.
Right between 0 and a half. So you know what? We don't have to go in order. We can just go ahead and plot that one right away. Because that one is one that, like, we can do that one pretty easily for us. All right, so we have 2 more. Let's talk about these other ones. Corvian?
11/12.
Yeah, 11/12 is almost a whole, so we can put it right towards the end there. Make a little check mark so we know we did that one. And we have 1 left. 3/8. Tyler?
3/8 is right by 1/2.
It is right by 1/2. Is it bigger than a 1/4? How many 8s are in a 1/4? Kind of a tricky question. Tyler? Yeah, there are 2 8s and 1/4. So is 3/8 bigger than 1/4?
Yes.
Yes, it is. All right, we did that one. We got all 3 of our points on there. B, select 2 fractions from part A and use the given number line to compare them by writing greater than, less than, or equal to. So someone give me, it can be any of these pieces up here. Someone give me 2 to compare. Max?
1/2 and 3/8.
All right, 1/2 and then 3/8. Who can help us? How does 1/2 compare to 3/8? Maddie?
3/8 is less than. Yeah.
Yep. So the 1/2 is the greater of the 2 numbers, right? It depends on how you wrote your numbers, which your Pac-Man should be eating the big one, though. All right, 2 more numbers, because it said 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
Oh, select 2 fractions. So we selected 2. You don't have to do 2 sets of them like we did there. But we can do C, though. Explain how you plotted the points in 2A. How did we plot all those points? Should we start off with the one that we did first? How did we figure out that one? Aiden?
We knew that 1/4 is going to be less than a half because 2/4 would be a half. 1/4 is right in the middle of 0 and 1.
Yeah, so can we say we knew 1/4 was directly between 0 and a half?
Yeah.
You guys agree? So we knew 1/4 was directly in between 0 and a half. What about we already did 1/4. What about 11/12? Did you guys? I'm gonna have to pause on that one for a second. Do you guys notice anything about these numbers?
Yeah.
These denominators? 4th, 8th, and 12th. Jacob?
They're all equivalent to each other.
Yeah, we can figure out fractions. So we can figure out how many 4ths are in a 12th. Did anyone pick up on that until now? Yeah, okay. All right, let's go back to our 12ths. How did we figure out where to plot the 12ths? Brendan?
11/12 is greater than 1/2. So it would be closer to a whole because 12/12 is a whole and 11/12 is only 1.
All right, so 11/12 is greater than a half. But not quite a whole. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, then we have one more to talk about. And it is what? Abby? 3/8. And what did we talk about when we did 3/8 up here earlier?
That it was greater than 1/4. That it was less than.
Yeah, and how did we know it was greater than 1/4?
Because
2 eighths equals 1/4. So let's say we knew 3 eighths was greater than 1/4 because 1/4 is equal to 2 eighths. All right, let's flip this over. All right, it says compare the fractions below by writing greater than or less than on the lines. Give a brief explanation for each answer referring to the benchmarks 0, half, and 1. Okay, all right, let's do the first one. A, half and 3/4. 3/4 is greater than, right? So for that one, you can keep it really simple. You can just say 3/4 is greater than a half. All right, 1/2 and 7/8. Which one is greater? Brendan?
7/8.
7/8. How do we know that that one's greater? Ella?
It's almost a whole.
Yeah, so we can say 7/8 is closer to 1. All right, guys, this one, they start to get a little bit trickier. 2/3 and 2/5. Jacob?
2/3.
2/3 is greater. I agree, but we have to give an explanation. Tyler?
It's greater because
What's it greater than?
it's greater than 1/2 and 2/5 is less than 1/2.
Exactly. 2/3 is greater than a half, and 2/5 is less than half. So when they ask for an explanation, they're not looking for something that's super in-depth. You don't even need to write complete sentences. We're just writing a quick note to explain our thinking, okay? All right, D, 9/10 and 3/5. Corbian? 9/10 is greater. How can we explain our thinking on that one? 9/10 is closer to 1. What is 3/5 closer to? Yeah, exactly. 3/5 is closer to a half. All right, we have 6 left. We can do it. E, 2/3 and 7/8. Maddie?
Equal.
They aren't equal. It's a tricky one. Can we make thirds into eighths?
Yeah.
Matt?
7/8 is greater.
7/8 is greater. How can we explain that one? I think that one has a couple of you guys confused here. How far away is 2/3 from being a whole? So 2/3 is 1/3 away, right? Let's write that down. So 2/3 is 1/3 away from 1. So it's 1/3 of the number line. That's a pretty big chunk, isn't it? If I were to make a number line and mark the thirds, 1/3 is a pretty large piece of the number line. How many eighths is 7/8 away from a whole?
1/8.
1/8. What is smaller, an eighth or a third?
An eighth.
An eighth. An eighth is not that far away. So we could say that. We could say 7/8 is 1/8 away from a whole. Or 1/8 away from, oops, I should have wrote 1 here and 1 here. I wrote 2/3 is 1/3 away from 1/3. All right, F. Let's see, this one's tricky. 1/3 and 2/4. Tanner?
2/4.
Yep, 2/4 is our bigger guy. How do we know that? David?
Because 2/4 is 1/2 and 1/3 is smaller.
So 2/4 equals 1/2, and 1/3 is less than a half? What do you guys think of that? Yeah. All right, G, 2/3 and 5/10. What do we think? Matt?
5/10
Is greater than or less than?
less than.
5/10 is less than 2/3, yes. 2/3 is our bigger number there. What's an explanation that we can give for that one? Jacob?
2/3 is closer to 1/2 and 5/10 is a half.
Yeah, 2/3 is closer to 1, and 5/10 is equal to 1/2. That works for me. All right, H, 11/12 and 2/5. Corvian? 11/12 is our greater one. You got it. How do we know that? 11/12 is closer to 1. That's pretty much all we really need for that one. Is 2/5 even a half? No, 11/12 is way closer to 1. Ooh, now we got some big numbers down here. I, 49/100 and 51/100. Everyone, which one's greater?
51.
Yeah. How do we know that? Maddie?
Because 51 is greater than 1/2.
Yeah, 51/100 is greater than a half. Is 49/100? No. All right, last one. We can do it. 7/16 and 51/100. Josiah, what do you think?
7/16.
Do you think 7/16 is bigger or smaller?
Bigger.
All right, let's think about it compared to those benchmark fractions, 0, half, and 1. So 7/16, what fraction is it closest to? It's closest to 1/2, but is it bigger than 1/2? No, it's smaller, because what fraction would be in the 16ths would equal half? 8/16. And 51/100, what's that closer to? It's closer to the half too, but is it bigger or smaller than a half?
Bigger.
Bigger. So which one of these numbers is bigger?
51/100.
51/100. That is a tricky one. That's a tricky one. So we can say 7/16 is less than half, and 51/100 is greater than half. Whew. Just in the nick of time. Math is over here. No homework tonight?
Yes.
Have a great rest of your day.